Brunch Culture.
We want to talk about faith. We want to talk about politics. We want to talk about race. We want to talk about pop culture. Literally, everything is up for discussion, and that's what Brunch Culture is about.
It's about a thing. Feel real good. Wave your hands in the air and lick 2 shots in the air.
Brunch Culture. Brunch Culture. Brunch Culture. Brunch Culture. She's Lisa V.
He's Randall Keith.
And this is another episode of Brunch Culture, the weekly show where everything is up for discussion.
Even Rob in China.
Unfortunately, Rob in China. Unfortunately, we have to talk about these people that honestly, I've been against talking about them on this show, but the time has come.
It was Rob.
When the queen has taken her throne.
Rob made it so we had to talk about it because Rob went ham on her on social media, and Randall is happy because he feels like the Kardashian women are messing over black men, so she's coming back to help.
They have been taking our culture for years on top of years on top of years on top of years. So Black China came through and said, you know what? I'm sick of this. And it was the last straw was when the young one, the one that was it was illegal for her to take her boyfriend, her baby daddy. And Black China said, you know what? I'm going to chill. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to lay low. She laid low. She came up with a whole plan. And now we see what's really going on.
You don't think it was a plan? You don't think she was really in love with Rob?
She could have been really in love with Rob, but she also was even more in love with this plan that she said, you know what, I'm finna get this money back and put it back into the system. And so she has gotten the money and she has taken one for the black culture, for black community. I think, I feel like she needs she should get like a Nobel Peace Prize. Like,
wow, the memes were hilarious.
It's restoring
and she was
balance.
Cold. Like, I can't believe she sent a video of her with another man to Rob.
She's restoring balance. She's, everything got to be
like,
balanced.
man, that's that hurt.
Where there's good, there got to be a little bad. Where there's bad, there got to be some good. Like, it got to be a balance. Black China is coming through and just restoring.
That. Well, Chris wasn't there for Rob. Like, she's there for everybody else.
I don't know, because, like... Not being funny, because I know he has don't he have a sock line or something like that? But
I thought you were going to say he got a disability.
No, that's not what I was about to say.
You got in that tone, he got. I was going to say,
Wait, what's wrong with Rob? No. But I was just thinking, because I was trying to think where's dude getting all this money from, for real? I don't know. I really don't know. But I mean, come on now. He said he spent millions of dollars and he's dropping $100K.
Did he get some money from his dad passing?
That was years ago. Like, what kind of money? His dad was just I'm sure he had a trust fund, but his dad was just an attorney. Like, I mean, he's making money, but he's not this dude said he dropped like $1 million and he was dropping like $100,000 a month on her.
Well, maybe he got it from his mom.
I'm sure he's getting it from his mom.
He got it. Maybe he works for the Kardashian app, because that app made hundreds of millions of dollars.
Like the KK app?
Yeah. So maybe he's working for the app. Maybe they sliding him some money as a family. Maybe they sharing the wealth.
I don't think old boy is working. I think that mama is feeding him money because mama is the system. Mama is the system that stole from our system. So, and apparently I saw a clip on Instagram, and apparently Black China was cool with the mom. She said the mom was like a second mother to her. And so, look, I think Black China's doing what she needs to do. Now, what she really should have did was she should have got that ring. If she would have got the ring, not only would she have been able to get child support, but she would have been able to get spousal support. And that's the real key. She would have been able to get all of the money. But so she only getting some of the money and bringing it to the storehouse.
She should have consulted.
Only some of the money.
Not the storehouse.
Not all the money. All the money. She's only getting some of it.
Well, you should have been her advisor in this whole scenario.
I could still do it though.
Snoop was going in on her. Snoop was going in on Rob. T.I. was going in on Rob. Lil Duval was going in on Rob. Lil Duval was going hard.
But truth be told, though, honestly, real talk, let's just think about this, right? So, she's not doing... I don't want to say she's not doing, because I don't know what she was doing. But she was known for, she was being a dancer. People just say she was with this guy. She was with this dude. So the stuff that he's saying that she's doing, it's kind of like, bruh,
you knew this before.
You had to know. Like, you couldn't, or at least knew
he
that
said love conquers all.
I don't know. I don't think that's love. I think at some point in time we got to call it stupidity. And the thing that was getting me too is like, he's getting mad at, to me, the very thing that you liked about her, you get mad, she's doing like, oh, she's sleeping with these guys and my kid's in the house. Well, you slept with her and her kid was in the house. Bruh, like, it's the same thing. Like, you can't, you really do, as Snoop Dogg say, you look like a sucker, bruh. You really do look like a sucker. And you got licked. And it's okay. Like, you just gotta be like,
just embrace it.
I don't know. It is what it is.
It's a classic case of when you think you getting somebody back and you look bad. It's like what we say when people do throw shade on social media with the memes.
And you look stupid.
Yeah. That's what happened to
Rob. You look 10 times worse.
The biggest level. He just showed you how it plays out in the very extreme scenario. But that's what people look like every day.
I typically don't care about this kind of stuff, but this has been extremely entertaining. The memes have been entertaining. The fact that Black China is, standing up for our people, I think is great. She should get like her own section in the National Museum of African American History and Culture. It should be called Taking Back Our Culture.
Wow.
Look, I'm saying these people have monetized Black culture. They've taken it, they've robbed it, they've monetized it. Whether they say they're the originators or not, they don't stop people from saying that they invented box braids or booties or hips or all of this stuff.
Well, King Qumran said they got the butt without the hips.
That is true. But they taking our stuff and they've monetized it. And so Black China is going in. What we got to do, though, is we got to get Tokyo Tony a man. We got to find somebody for Tokyo Tony to get. We got to find somebody for Kaya. I feel like Kaya would come in. Like, if Kaya was in Black China's situation, Kaya would come through and get all the money.
Wow. Kaya
would win. Do you follow Kaya?
I don't follow Kaya, but you tell me she does interesting stuff on social media. Isn't she charging $2 to talk to her?
I'm sorry. Kaya is charging. She's charging $2. $2 a minute to have a conversation with her. And it's not escort stuff. She clarifies on her Instagram that this is not an escort service. She clarifies. She's saying that this is just a conversation with the queen.
Now, and it's $2 a minute.
$2 right? a minute. And it's two different tiers. There's two tiers. There's a 30-minute tier and there's a 60-minute tier. So you paying $60, $120 for a conversation with the queen.
But you can just call a licensed therapist and cheaper than that.
They have free services where you can call people. But she does a whole bunch of stuff. You can just have, she said you can have sister talk. You can have spiritual talk. If you need spiritual guidance, she can give you spiritual guidance. Kaya is doing it
for free.
Kaya is doing it. Kaya is doing everything. Shout out to Kaya. Like, y'all, you gotta follow her Instagram. Like, I actually don't follow it yet because I feel bad. But I still search her though. Like, if you go to my Instagram page, she's like one of my top searchers. Just because it's like,
I don't follow her, but I still search her.
It's so, look, because I feel bad. You know how people can see who you follow, right? And so I'll be like, nah, people gonna judge me by me following guys. So I ain't gonna actually follow her. But my search, if like people could see my search history, that's like one of the things. You know how you just normally go on social media to see what's going on? That's one of the pages I click on just to see what's happening.
Well, I mean, you don't think that people wouldn't judge you? Because, like, 70% of the people I follow are celebrities. There's people I know in real life that I don't follow on Instagram. I just use Instagram for, like, celebrities to follow them. I don't follow, like, friends and family.
But you
some
follow,
of them, but
you follow those celebrities. I'm sure these are like celebrities that are like, you know, doing some substantial things with their celebrityism. I'm following
a lot of social media entertainers.
I guess you're trying to make me feel. I feel like you set me up, so you're gonna make me feel good about following them. I'm gonna click that follow button, and then
do it in the middle of the night where a lot of people won't see, and then just do a lot of other activities after that, so it kind of gets swept under the rug. Okay. Like find like 10 people you want to follow, and follow her first,
and then follow the rest of them.
Yeah, fill the rest of them, and then do a lot of likes and stuff in the middle of the night. Nobody will know.
I feel like you be doing this. Who you be hiding from, Lisa? I feel like you be out here hiding. What's going on? What's happening?
I'm just trying to help you.
So anyway, what else we got going on?
444 came out. Jay-Z dropped it. Was it last Friday? Tidal.
On
he
Tidal.
Made good business moves. Platinum in 5 days.
In the
streaming. I don't even know how it worked because it wasn't. I don't know how they count streams.
So apparently it wasn't just from streams. So I read an article a couple nights ago, and basically what happened was the deal with Tidal and Sprint. Mm-hmm. He sold essentially 1 million records to Sprint. Sprint paid for them. And then people that had Sprint just had to go on and download the album. And so that's how he got credit for selling them, because he sold them to Sprint, and then Sprint, I guess as a part of people having Tidal and Sprint or something like that, where they were able to download the album.
Yeah, because that's like advertising essentially for people. That's just taking their ad dollars. That's very smart. He's a very smart businessman.
Honestly, because that's what he did with Holy Grail. Remember, he did Magna Carta, Holy Grail. He did the same thing, but he just did it with Samsung. And it's interesting because, you know, you have people that say, like, this isn't a good... It's not true album sales. It's not really showing interest, true interest. People aren't having to, you know, log on to buy it, to pay their $10 or whatever to download it, or go to the store to get it. But honestly, I feel like because music sales numbers are down so much, like, who's actually truly going out and buying a full album? I feel like
especially if you have a streaming service.
Exactly. I feel like I might be the only crazy person that still be like, oh, I have it downloaded on streaming, but I want to support the artist, so I'm gonna buy it. Most of my friends tell me I'm crazy, so I don't know a lot of people that's doing that. But in order to still sell records, it does make sense to sell it to a company who has the money. And that company, you guys both benefit. That company gets money. They benefit off being able to tell their customers, like, hey, you're customers of us. We give you top tier albums for free, essentially, by signing up for our service. So they get that buy-in, and it's like, and you get that advertising, and you get the numbers. You got a platinum album in 5 days.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, I sold more than probably Lemonade, I think, in the first 5 days. I don't think she got platinum in the first 5 days.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not in the first 5 days. I don't know. Yeah, but I think it's really dope. But anyway, the album in general, I heard the album actually the night that, I downloaded it like right after midnight because I had Tidal. So I have Tidal now, and I'll get into a whole other thing. I actually want to talk about my decision to support Tidal. Maybe we'll do that on another show. But anyway. But I downloaded it, but I didn't listen to it. I didn't listen to it until Friday, that Friday. And I was like riding the car and I was listening to it. And that album is dope. Like, and not so much. I mean, it's him, you know, talking to him, like talking about his issues, letting things out, airing stuff, admitting things, asking for apologies. But I just feel like it's just in general, it's just real and it's conscious, and it's one of those things where he has taken his experience, and I've been listening to Jay-Z since his Hard Knock Life album. That was like the first rap album that I bought. So I've listened to, you know, the growth, And just kind of seeing this person that still has the ability to use words in such a powerful way and to combine words, and it really is entertaining but also thought provoking. But hearing him in this level of, he's talking about, you know, business, financial freedom, family, his love for his wife, his love for his children, his love for his mom, trying to protect his mom. He allows his mom, you know, tells her truth on the album. He's just very, like, it's one of those things that's like, you take the themes that are kind of universal to everybody, and people have grown up with you. And so you really are on your grown man stuff, and you are like putting it out there. And I think it's really dope. Like, I could sit here all day and talk about this album, just breaking down specific parts in each lines. But my favorite line, I'm gonna say this and I'll shut up. My favorite line is, "I'm not black, I'm OJ."
Okay.
That is like, I was in the car, I kept rewinding that part like over and over and over again, because I'm like, yes, all of you people that think that pulling yourself away from being pro-black or the black cause, all of you folks that think that, oh, you know, this makes me special, like, oh, I don't see race, I don't see color, we're all just one. You look at OJ, like, at some point in time, and it's not saying that everybody's horrible, but at some point in time, you know, for some folks, they don't really care how good it's. Once you stop doing good or giving them what they want, it's like, oh, all right, you're just like everybody else, whatever.
Yeah, my favorite song on the album is "Legacy," and I think I resonated more with that because the apologetic side of me, when he started talking about like why he didn't want church. That was, to me, was like, wow, I'm going to use this.
Yeah, that was... Because, Go ahead. I'm going to shut up.
It speaks volumes because, you know, there's so much that's been said about Jay-Z and his relationship with God and the Illuminati allegations, which we see now, those didn't help probably the cause if he heard that from church people because he's already struggling. But the fact that he shared that vulnerable thing, like, his granddad was literally, I think, raping his aunt is what he was saying. And so, like, and his granddad was a preacher. And so the disconnect between what he said he believes and what he practiced was just like, man, I don't want this if this is what it's about. And I think that speaks to so many people in culture. Yeah. And so I just think that was a real point where we see why him and Faith kind of have a disconnect.
Right.
But he's getting back to it. But for a long time, that was something that was a real struggle for him.
Yeah. So that, to be a full transparency, full disclosure, that song brought tears to my eyes. Like, and it was that part too, because, you know, I've shared, of course, personally, like off the record of Brunch Culture, I've, you know, my journey, and honestly, it was interesting listening to that, and that I identify with it for so many reasons, but mainly for the reason of knowing how you kind of feel people can make you feel inadequate, like you're not enough for faith and for God. And then you in turn start to kind of internalize that and feel like I reject it all together, because it's like, if people are supposed to be the representation of God, then, and people treat, you know, me and others like this, then I don't want anything to do with that all. And so it sends you on this journey of learning about other stuff or being open to more stuff. And then ultimately, and the part when he was like, you see how the universe works, takes my hurt and helps me find more of myself, and like find out more of who I am. And like, that was just like, that's what I think, that's the beautiful thing. And it makes you fall in love with God all over again, because you start realizing that, like, yo, throughout this process of me rejecting it for whatever reasons that I feel validated, like, God really pulled me back in. And like, all of these things that people keep telling me that I'm doing wrong, quote unquote, I'm a part of the Illuminati. He says he studied like Buddhism, and Christianity, and he studied all that stuff, but God used all of that to help him find himself. Like that to me, that was just, it was beautiful. It was beautifully written. I resonated with it. I think it was dope. And it had the Clark sisters. Yeah, I would definitely want to like put a pin in that and like I feel like we could dissect that song all together and just do like a whole show of just dissecting that. And also just kind of dissecting for anybody, for people that are believers, or not non-believers in general, just knowing how the way that you respond to people and you treat people based on where they are in terms of their faith, their belief or disbelief, how that can even be more damaging to somebody. So you're criticizing somebody for not doing something without recognizing, as you mentioned, the Illuminati thing, like without recognizing you actually probably are pushing this person further away, if that were true. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are supposed to be the people that are like, hey, no, let me like love on you and show you the right way. So
yeah, it was a heavy album.
Yeah, I love it. Again, I actually put this disclaimer on Twitter. I'm not one. I hate when people kind of just say that kind of like judge something automatically and be like, oh, it's a classic. It's so great. I think that, you know, music, you sit with it. You really are supposed to sit with it. And I'm sure I've said this 1,010,000 times. I think you're supposed to sit with music, and it's kind of emotional. It's supposed to take you through. It's art. And so art is going to mean different things at different times. You can read, you know, a book today and read it in 5 years and get something completely different out of the same chapter. And I feel like albums are the same way. Art and music is the same way. Like I might get one thing out of it today, and then next week, next month, next year, 10 years from now, I'll pull something completely different based on my life experience. And I say that to say that, like, I tread lightly with being like, this is the greatest thing ever. But what I can say is right now in this space that I'm in, it's really good. And I think what's so good about it too is that you can take, because of his level of maturity, and the things that he's talking about are very universal. It's not like big pimping, like we buying yachts and, you know, throwing money at the women. Like it's stuff that's universal that like other people can come back and listen to it and just identify with it. And we're going to talk about it on the main dish, but I feel like it not only spoke to men, but it spoke to women too. Whole other thing. But yeah.
Well, you know what doesn't speak to me?
What's that?
Donald Trump's tweets.
Oh gosh.
I just want him to stop it. I don't understand.
Why won't Twitter just cancel his account?
You know, could you imagine the craziness and the fuss he would make if Twitter suspended his account?
But where would he make it? He probably would like get on Facebook.
Oh, that's true.
He probably would get on Facebook.
Never seen him post on Facebook. But
I know
Facebook.
But I was going to say it's probably because he has Twitter. But if like Twitter shut him down, then
he probably would go to Facebook. I feel like social media.
Imagine him snapping.
Situation.
Imagine him on Snapchat. Insta story. Like, come on. Okay, go ahead.
I feel like whoever owns Snapchat and Twitter need to band together and just cut him off of social media. Could you imagine that?
I don't think it would be a bad idea, and I think they can do it in such a way that they can say that we're doing it because you're the president.
Cyberbullying?
Well, because you're the president. Just be like, you know, we think it's better for the president to get his comments out through like press briefings or something. I don't know.
You know what? They should wait till his wife introduces her cyberbullying initiative and then make her guidelines something that they like say we're going to cancel accounts that don't follow the first ladies, and then delete him, and then say refer to your wife's cyberbullying restrictions. I think that'll be so gangster.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. I think.
I feel like that CNN tweet where he put the CNN face when he was on WWE years ago and bashed them, I feel like that goes under cyberbullying. So I feel like if she had like some guidelines, that could be fall in that and we could suspend him.
What's interesting though is I'm sure that they are going to be very careful about what she comes out with and defines as cyberbullying, and make sure that there's always a way that they can say that. Do you think they will though? I don't feel like the people in the administration are that smart. I feel like that they wouldn't even make that connection. You don't think so? It would be really embarrassing.
Sean Spicer though?
It'll be really disappointed if they don't. Like, I mean,
Sean Spicer about to get, for me, when I see the administration, I think it's Sean Spicer, and I don't think of a critical thinker. And so, and Kellyanne Conway, you know, those kinds of folks. And I don't think that they critically think or make those connections or even, you know, make that kind of, you know.
So they're just all out here just doing whatever the hell they want to do.
They don't even have enough. They haven't even filled the staff positions for everybody. I don't think.
Yeah, no, they haven't. That's sad.
So no, I'm just saying.
That's sad.
It's ridiculous. And so because of that, I think there's a lot of gaps there. So I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of slipped through the cracks. But Spicy's about to get fired. Well, he's looking for his replacement.
The fact that you keep calling him Spicy,
I just can't. SNL. That's kind of his name,
right? Because you saying it as if that's like this dude's real like government name, like Spicy.
Spicy.
When
Melissa McCartney, she nailed that. Like, I'm sad to see him go. I'm happy because I don't think he's capable, but I'm sad because I feel like SNL goes. She nailed that. Like, she made him.
Yeah, they're gonna. I'm sure the next person is gonna have equally as many problems, and there's gonna be somebody else that is. Do you remember when the one lady did? I don't know if it was Mad TV or SNL, but they used to have that one lady that used to do Whitney Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they all come up with. So it's like the lady that did Whitney Houston, the girl that did what's old girl name? She's from Alaska.
Sarah Palin.
Where
has she been? She need to be the new spokesperson. She fit right in there with the administration. No. I feel like she has a job in that administration.
I'm sure she is like
her in the old beach loving. What's the man? Christie that closed the beach and he was on it.
Did you see the pictures of him on the beach? He looked really nasty. Like for real. Like it looked real nasty. Like I was disturbed. Like literally, I saw the pictures and I got up and went to the gym. I was like, I'm not doing this. Nope.
He said, y'all should be out here watching me. Nope. This is me and my wife private time.
Nope, I'm not doing it.
Did you see him on CNN responding? He was like, this isn't news. If I had been on there with another woman besides my wife, that would have been news. This isn't news. And I used to like Chris Christie. Like back in the day. I felt like he told it like it was.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, outside of politics, the realm of politics, I feel like he's somebody that I could probably sit back and laugh with. I feel like he in real life has like a lot of probably good jokes, and he's like one of those like straight shooter people that probably just really don't care about nothing. Mm-hmm. So I feel like in real life it probably would be real dope.
Yeah, well, when he aligned himself with Trump, anytime you try to defend Trump, I feel like you just look stupid.
It goes downhill from there.
It's a self-defeating thing.
Downhill from there. Unfortunately, the Carmichael show is being canceled. And y'all know how I feel about the Carmichael show.
I just watched it. I was sick last week for like 4 days. I was in my bed 4 days straight. I don't know if I had a bad cold or the flu, but I binged the Carmichael show, and it was amazing. And then you told me it's being canceled, and I was like, man, that's so sad. I just got on it.
Yeah, the good thing, well, I guess it's not really a good thing, but apparently it's being canceled because Jared Carmichael, who's the star and creator of the show, he's given it up. He doesn't want to do it anymore, which I don't necessarily think is the best move. And I say that only because I feel like the show is just really kind of getting a lot of people to start watching it. It's really kind of getting a lot more traction and attention. And I feel like the show is so good. It's written very well. The actors, besides Jared Carmichael, are good. And so, I don't know. I just feel like this could have been just the classic show of our time. But I don't feel like it's going to get I mean, it's the last season. It's only 3 seasons. I don't feel like people are really going to remember it in that way. But I feel like there was an opportunity for them too. Like it could have. Like they could have stayed around and like really, really made something. But,
Did they say why he's giving it up?
I think he said he wants to do something else. Like he wants to like explore other options. So I'm assuming he probably wants to do like movies or other things. Like maybe he's just tired of being tied to TV. Assuming.
Oh yeah, because I know it does take a lot of your time. I heard from what I hear.
I think they only shoot like over the course of like a few months though.
Oh well, then I don't know, because I feel like that was he kind of shooting himself in the foot, because unless he just got a whole bunch of acting roles in movies coming up, I don't know. Maybe he's stepping out on faith.
Yeah, probably. I just think that is. I don't think it's a good. I'm disappointed anyway because I'm a fan of the show, so I just think he should just keep it around. But if y'all haven't,
maybe they wouldn't give him enough money, the money he wanted, because sometimes that's the underlying.
I would say that could be a thing too. Honestly, though, maybe he does feel like he's getting a lot more attention, so he wants to get more money for it. And if y'all haven't watched it though, I say watch it. Hopefully they'll like release all the seasons, and I'll likely buy it. Because I think it's just that good. It's one of those how like you have certain shows where if you don't really have anything to do, you kind of just want to just watch something to be entertained. I feel like it's one of those things. It's one of those things that you can like just keep watching, the shows or the season over and over and over again, and like still be just as entertained each time.
Yeah, because they are hilarious.
Yeah.
So, we don't want to make it seem like we dislike white people in what we're about to say. But they have a funny way of messing up history when it comes to telling the truth about what happened with black people and slavery. This week is no different. Sally Hemings was portrayed as a mistress. And
she had a choice.
She was a teenager that was raped. Right. Which would be accurate. She was a slave. She was a minor, and she was raped by Thomas Jefferson. So
she was property. She was his property, literally his property.
Like instead of portraying Thomas Jefferson I think they wanted to sanitize his legacy. So they says he has a mistress, and it's like, no, that's not what happened. When they're redoing Monticello, trying to restore it, and they found her quarters, and then there was a article published talking about, hey, we found Thomas Jefferson's mistress quarters, Sally Hemings, and then Twitter responded, no, that's not what happened. And so again, there's this, and I remember, was it textbooks where we were saying like we were indentured servants or something? Mm-hmm. This retelling of history to kind of try to clean it up when in reality, no, that's not what happened. And I think it's horrible because it takes away of the fact, yes, he was one of our founding fathers, but our founding fathers did horrible things. And, this whole narrative about us being a Christian nation and all that stuff, it's not going with what happened. And I think we need to stick to the facts.
I get really frustrated with these. I really get frustrated with it because, we see it more often than not, right? And even in trying to explain and talk about people, I always find it interesting how, people are so quick to talk about and point the finger and say how bad and how horrible, leaders in other countries are and like things that have been done around the world. We're so quick to criticize people, but when it comes to criticizing our own and looking at our founding fathers and being like, oh, hey, y'all were kind of jacked up. Like, this isn't all of this. Like, our history, the history of our country, in more ways than one, has been really unfair to certain groups of people. Like, and let's acknowledge that. Let's meet it head on. Let's not try to take anything away from it. And let's try to give respect now. You know what I'm saying? There's always this sense of, well, that was so long ago. It wasn't that bad. And even when you told me about this story, I was just like, wait, she was a what? Like, a mistress insinuates a choice. Like, she didn't have a choice. Like, she was property. Like, literally. And she was not only property, saying that, like, oh, that was his choice. She was legally property. So that's a whole other thing, right? So that speaks to, why would anybody even make that type of inference or put that out there? It's crazy because we see this in very subtle ways all the time. People trying to say that, oh, they were possibly that. I think I was telling you before, watching that video, and I saw that somebody did like a write up of the video that maybe, I don't know if it was Ancestry.com or History.com. Somebody did a video where they took the descendants of the founding farmers. I keep saying farmers, but that's because I'm thinking about the restaurant here, Founding Farmers. It's because I really want to go. I'm kind of hungry. Anyway, fat boy moment. Founding fathers. They put all of them in the room and had them recite the Declaration of Independence. And what was interesting is you see all of these people that are, you know, multiracial. Their hair texture is different, and one of the write-ups was essentially saying that people often say that these descendants were birthed out of, or they speculate that these descendants were birthed out of potential rapes, and it's being like, well, let's think about this. If folks were slaves, right? If the black people, the darker skin tone people, were slaves, and they were owned, they were property, they were told when to eat, when to move, what they could and couldn't do, like they really didn't have any choice. How could you ever say that there was speculation that they were raped? Like, were they just gonna get up and say, come and get this because I want you to have it? Like, no, they didn't have, like, they what? They didn't own their own bodies. How could you even get to that point? So it's frustrating, but as we always say, that's why it's good for us. That's why Twitter is a good thing, and social media is a good thing, and having platforms where we can push back on those things and correct people and call people out and call spaces out and say, look, you're lying. This is wrong. This isn't it. This is why it's so important for us to have these things today, so that we can call these things out and we can make sure that they're, at least we're putting forth effort to make people not be lost. But, you know, some folks are just always going to be lost, and it just is what it is.
That's true.
They just dumb by choice.
So y'all tell us what you think about the Carmichael show about 45, President Trump. I'm trying to say it. Jay-Z 444. Sally Hemings and Rob and China. Did China do it for the culture? We don't know, but Randall seems to think she did. So y'all tell us what y'all think. Hashtag ChatBC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We would love to interact with you. We'll be back for our main dish. And we're back for our main dish. Today's main dish is kind of a continuation from our talk on Jay-Z's album 444. But there was an article written by a scholar, a womanist theologian by the name of Candace Bimbo. Candace has done, I think she did the Lemonade syllabus, the Red Lip syllabus, I believe. I would have to go back and look and check, but she's been doing a lot of work about culture and just women and empowerment and the intersection between faith and culture. And she decided to write a response to Jay-Z's 444, and it was called 443. And when I read this was heavy. Like, I read this and I was like, wow, like, you have to sit with it. It's like eating a rich piece of cheesecake, and you just like, man, this is good, but I can't even eat it all right now. I gotta take some time to digest what I just had to even finish the rest of it. And so, like, from the first line, she basically took chunks of Jay-Z's song and then responded to them based on relationships she had, and talked about, you know, how women seem to have to bear the hurt of men trying to find their way. I think she compared it to a Myers-Briggs test. Yes, yeah. And it's like, oh, well, you, at the end, when men be like, well, you made me better. But it's like, we always have the responsibility of birthing babies that we'll never hold. That was deep, because I feel like that's real. That was
a low blow, though. That was a low, like, I ain't no baby. How was that low? I ain't a baby. Like, saying, like,
well, it's not saying you're a baby, though, but it's just saying, like, I did all this work. I carried you, I pushed you, and I don't even get to hold you. It's like I gave you up like you were given up for adoption without me signing the paper. And it was that adoption that happened at birth, where, you know, they have the option whether you see the child or you don't. Mm-hmm. It was like, I got the don't see option. So you came out and immediately just went to another family. It's cold. You don't get it?
I mean, I'm trying to find ways to, like, not be on board for all of this, but go ahead.
So it was heavy, and I sent it to Randall, and he said Satan was using me. when I gave it to him to read. He thought it was phenomenal. I'm lying. He thought it took a toll on him. He was speechless because we were talking and he read it as we were on the phone, and like he was like floored. Like he didn't even have words after reading that. So we decided to talk about it today. It is set with both of us for a day. So you ready?
I'm something. Yeah.
I felt like when Jay said, "You ready, B?" That's I channel. Yeah.
Let's go get him. No, I wasn't gonna be able to say let's go get him. I can't. Let's walk around it and see what happens.
So, as a man reading this, because I feel like men need to read it, because I feel like as a woman, she put what women's frustration like this. This is how we feel. We know how we feel, but I felt like men reading this, I felt like they needed to read it to understand a little bit more.
I can agree there.
So I feel like it was more vital for men to read than women.
Yeah, I can definitely agree there. So let me just start by explaining my journey with this piece, right? So Lisa sent it to me and via text maybe a few days ago or whenever, I think when it dropped or whatever. And I saw it and I was like, oh, I'll read it. Like, I think I end up reading the first part of it, and I read like the quote she uses was like, and because I fall short of what I say I'm all about, your eyes leave your soul and your body. Yeah. So I read that and I was like, oh, okay, well, she's using Jay-Z line. Let me see what it's about. It's 4:43. I'm sure that has some meaning to it. I'll read it and figure out what's going on. Well, then I went to social media while at work and I started seeing like my timeline. Like a whole bunch of girls just keep posting it. And I'm like, man, this is a little interesting. And so I was like, I think I read a piece of it. One girl had like highlighted a line or a paragraph and posted it. And it said something, it was because if we're going to go through this, it should be for a purpose, right? And she kind of explains she posted that part, and basically it's kind of like a summary of essentially what the piece is about. And it's basically saying like, women, specifically black women, put in a lot of work for black men and don't reap the benefits of it. And so I read that part and I was like, ooh, like, because I've heard it before. I'll be honest. I've heard that before. So I was a little like, whatever. And I was kind of like walking around it. So just in conversation, we were having Lisa and I were having a conversation, and, we started talking about it and I decided to read it. It really jacked me up, and it jacked me up for a number of reasons, but one of the main things, and while I can say I agree that this is probably more for men than it is for women, although I'm sure a number of women resonate with it and can get, I don't know, I guess can feel like get an amen by reading it, or feel like somebody else is going through what I'm going through. It provides a lot more of context and understanding for the experience that women have, or maybe that a woman that you've dated has had, in ways that it does so in a way that I was reading it and I felt really bad for her, right? Because she creates this picture in the beginning, right? She creates this perfect picture of a guy coming and bringing her flowers, and it's just telling her like she's kind of just happy and she's lost in being with him. And she says something like she's laying there with him and she wants to be there for forever because he feels like home, right? And so it's kind of like you start to say like, dang, this is real love, like black love. This is dope. And so then she starts to, make the comparison of the guy to Jay-Z and talk about how he's like on the block list. And, if y'all ever gone
that
through
block list,
look,
that block list really resonates.
Look, if you ever gone through a tumultuous breakup and you realize that you got put on the block list, but you're not a bad dude, and that's the thing that, again, this is the reason that I think is good, because I read this feeling bad for the girl, and And I was waiting for the part where she was like, you know, you cheated on me, or you beat me, or, you know, something that was just like real jacked up. Because then at that point, I can differentiate myself from this man that she's talking about. And so I was waiting for that part, but that part ain't never come. But the part that did come was like him expressing to her at a later time, at whatever time, or maybe I guess while they were together, that, you know, you've made me better. And I'm the man that I am because of you. And
you still want to be friends.
Shut up, Lisa. But it's like, because all of those things as a man, and as a man that kind of credits myself for, you know, I try to be straightforward. I try to be honest. Like, you know, I really try to move in such a way that I feel like I'm respectful. I grew up, have sisters. I grew up with sisters. You know, I've seen my mom kind of go through crazy stuff. So it's like, I never wanted to be that dude. But seeing that, I guess, in being a guy that is not a bad guy, that's a nice guy, but that is also not straightforward about whether I want to be in a relationship or not, or whether I want to commit or not, or maybe I want to move forward, or whatever the situation is, or just being comfortable with being in a situationship, I realized that that's bad, you know? And I never thought about like the benefits of what I'm getting out of this, and what the woman is kind of, although she paints this picture enduring. And she kind of, she's enduring, but she does it in such a way that it's almost blinding. I remember, Charlamagne said this one time, and I remember being like, that's so true. Sometimes, because women have such a good poker face, if you will, you won't realize all of the hurt that she's going through per se. You actually think like, you know, she's good. Like, life is good for her. There's no real problems. But then you start to, you know, until they tell you, or they do something like write a piece like this, and you see the hurt and the layers of hurt that they go through. You see things about, like, you know, them not eating, doing stuff like, going to max out their credit cards, trying to like find happiness, you know, contemplating, and in extreme cases, contemplating suicide. Just their self-esteem is jacked up, or they start giving themselves to other men just to try to find like value, because they felt, based on this situationship that they were in with you, or the relationship that they were in with you, that seemed to not go further, or just ended abruptly because you felt like you needed, for whatever reasons, you know, the guy, or we've made a decision to end the relationship, it ends up scarring a woman, and we just don't realize it, honestly. Like, it really jacked me up for that very reason. It jacked me up because I was reading it, and I was, again, waiting to like kind of differentiate myself from this guy, but then realizing that I've been in a situation where I was this guy, and I said the same thing. Like, she said that they were in a coffee shop, and he was like, I just want to be friends. I was in like a small restaurant, and I was like, yeah, I think it's best that we just be friends. And like, him saying things like, you know, you make me a better man. And I'm always saying like, no, I'm a better man because of this situation. I'm a better man because this woman loved on me enough to help me believe in myself, you know, help me know that I am, you know, I'm talented I have a lot of great things to bring to the world, that I deserve love. All of these things that, you know, this woman gave me and helped me do, and never had to realize though, like, yo, what did she have to endure in order for me to get there? And she kind of becomes like, I don't know, just like, that's like a doormat for, or a stepping stone for my growth. And I don't really have to think about or consider the details of what she's had to go through. And then also knowing that not only is just her, but it's a whole bunch of women that also say that like we've experienced the same thing, especially in our time where situationships are a lot more, you know, more common than not. And in those situationships, you have women that are wanting like more, and they want the relationship, but a guy doesn't want it, but they're just kind of accepting it and it being okay. And then at some point in time, when we decide to go on, or we do, decide to make it official, get married or whatever, this other woman gets to benefit from something, the labor of the woman before her. It was just, again, I want to find ways to pick this apart, to like kind of discredit it, to be like, nah, because it sounds like, I mean, she doesn't specifically, again, say anything like completely horrible that old boy did. It just kind of seemed like, he just wasn't ready for the next level, if you will. And to me, I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, at least he was honest. Like, I mean, he still loved you. I think
the jacked up thing about this, because I see it happen all the time, is people will say they're not ready. And this didn't happen in your case, but it happens a lot. People will spend years with a person, drag them through the mud, and then come out, and then a few months later they engage to somebody else.
Yeah.
And they get married, and then that person that they spent years with, dragging them through garbage, doing all kind of things, then they become this perfect person for the next. And I've seen my friends have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And I think that I think some of my homeboys, I sent this article to some of my homeboys, and I was like, stop. I said stop 443 girls. Because, I watch them do it, and I'd be like, that's, hey, come on now, that's not right.
I was gonna tell you, I sent it to my homeboy, and he was just like, I ain't reading that trash. But he was like, I got on social media and I saw a whole bunch of women posting this, and I just said that this is probably something that's anti-black man that's gonna be like calling us out, and I ain't got time to read it, so I'm not doing it.
So I got a response from one of my friends. He said, this ain't news, this is life. And I was like, dang, where's her empathy?
Right. Oh.
He was just like, that's people losing baby daddies, people losing husbands. And I'm like, I think this universally speaks to people who've lost their child's father or their husband, because, she's also paralleling the fact that Beyonce has to go through this. She's married to Jay-Z. She decided to stay, but, I think the author Candace seemed like, even though she went through all this with the guy, if he wanted her, she would have still been with him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He just didn't want to continue the relationship. The benefit for Beyonce is that Jay-Z still wanted to be with Beyonce. So I think it's a different level of pain when a person you invest in and are still willing to say, despite the fact that you've done this garbage to me, I'm still willing to stick with you. And they walk away and say, you know what? I think we should just be friends.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference, because Jay-Z is not walking away from Beyonce like, we should just be friends and get divorced. No, he's like actively still pursuing, like, I messed up.
Right.
She's talking about a whole nother level of pain.
Exactly. And it's not something that I realize, like, I don't think that it's something that we will ever get. And I feel like there are other reasons why we'll never really get that. Like, there's no coincidence that so many women go through this, right? I feel like kind of society kind of tells us that, it maybe inadvertently or indirectly, but society kind of tells women that you kind of have to, you're going to get your heart broke, but you kind of got to learn to be strong and just deal with it. Even in terms of talking about women being married. And, my female best friend, she always tells this to me. She says this to me all the time. Like, it's one of those things that you go into a relationship saying that you don't want to deal with infidelity. You want somebody that's going to be honest, that's going to be committed to you, that's not going to be, you're not going to have to deal with that. That's the one deal breaker that you go in saying you have. But then you start to talk to all of these women that have been married for years, and the one thing that they consistently kind of tell you or allude to is that if infidelity happens, it's important for you to work through it. So you're kind of being bred and primed to like work through that type of thing. Whereas, I mean, I just think like, for me, that's kind of like, nah, that's not happening. Like, I'm not dealing with that. Like, what you mean? You like gave my, like, what? You get out of here. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't, and she says, well, you don't have to. And that's another thing. Like, you don't, like men, if you look at like the whole Tiny and T.I. situation, like she was like, T.I. is mad that she was seen in a photo at the guy's party, like, or at a party next to the guy. Like, he's not, like, he actually cheated on her with somebody that she hired that was like on payroll for her. And she was seen in a photo with somebody that has a problem with. And that's enough for him to be like, you know what, this ain't working. And that type of thing just kind of makes me think like, wow, maybe I won't understand this. And that's why I think that this is I think the pieces, it speaks so many volumes, and it really jacks me up. It really jacked me up last night because it was just like, I never had to think about it that deep. Like the situations I was in, it was kind of explained to me later, but very lightly, like very briefly, not this in depth. Like, and it wasn't a journey. Like I didn't get to see like all sides of it. And maybe that's just because I was in the situation. So I feel justified in why I made a decision. I feel justified in why I say I think it's best that we take a break, or we step away from each other, or we be friends. Because to me, it seems like the right thing to do. It seems like the most logical thing. It seems like we are becoming Clash of Titans and we're bumping heads over and over and over again, that it makes sense that this is the breaking point, if you will, right? But not thinking about the years of work that had been put in, and we were clashing then, but I was getting all of the support that I needed, right? I was getting all of these things, and she was just kind of like, I guess just enduring, if you will, is the best word that I can think of. I guess she was just enduring to see the best side of me come out. And then this best side of me comes out, if you will, or starts to show its head or starts to peak. And then I'm kind of like, well, I ain't seeing the best side of you, so I'm out of here. And I don't think that's something that I will fully understand. And I didn't understand it until reading somebody else's story. And it really just makes it kind of, it calls out, you know, the bad guy, but it also calls out the seemingly good guy, right? Because I feel like there's a number of people that operate with a certain level of like personal integrity that says like, I don't want to be that dude, right? Because I don't want somebody to do that to me. And Jay-Z has a line where he basically says, it took for me to have a daughter to understand a woman. Well, for me, it's like, well, I kind of have always, you know, thought that way or understood it because I have sisters and I have a mom, and they're very open about what they go through and how things make them feel. So it's kind of like, and they would always say like, don't be that dude. Don't be that dude. Just be honest. Like if you don't have to be in a relationship. If you don't want to be in a relationship, just say it. Like if you honestly want the benefits of a relationship, without having one, just say it. Like you'll be more surprised that more women will agree to it than not, or more women would appreciate you just being honest. So I've always felt like I've operated like that. But, you know, there was a period of time where I was just kind of like, I do want the benefits of this. I just don't want the relationship. I do kind of want the ability to just kind of exit out of this when it's convenient for me. Like, and I'm not saying it thinking that way. Like I'm not intently saying like, oh, you know, I just kind of want my cake and eat it too, quote unquote, or I want to get you to do all this stuff like we're in a relationship, but I don't want to commit to you. I'm not thinking it that way, but I'm saying stuff like, I'm not ready for a relationship, but will I take you out? Yeah. Will I buy you flowers? Absolutely. Will I lay with you and spend the night and hold you and, you know, make sure that your car is washed and everything's right and help you with, like, I'll do all of that. I don't have a problem with that. That actually makes me feel like, you know, it allows me to stretch my man muscle to do all of this, if you will. But I ain't trying to be in a relationship. And I just never had to think about the damage that does. And I feel like this piece really speaks to that. And it's hard. It's really hard.
Make sure you come toe to toe with it. Like I said, I couldn't really resonate with this piece that much because the person that I considered the quote unquote love of my life, when he did leave, he kind of didn't become a better person. So
So you at like, you're not even at 444. You like at like 044, like 043.
So I don't want to take credit for anything that he is now. So I can't really rest. And I'm not saying, because we have this thing, there's not layers. Me and him are fine now. But I just, like, I'm looking back, I'm like, I don't I don't want to replay it. Neither do I want us to go back.
Yeah.
You know, at the time I was devastated because it just was crazy and horrible the way it went down. But it's kind of like, yeah, it's not like, no, there was no coffee shop scene about us being like, it just was, it was devastating and tragic. One day I'll have to tell that story in the book. But, you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't really fully resonate to that because, like, looking back on it, I'm just like glad that happened because I'm glad God protected me from that disaster of that could have been my husband and that would have been devastating.
Yikes.
Yeah, so I couldn't really resonate because I didn't have to see the person that I was in love with. I did have to see them marry somebody else, but it was just different.
Right.
It was it was different. And so, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't have to bear that pain, but I've seen friends go through it. And some of my friends will argue that what I went through was worse. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like you can't even, when you start trying to measure who went through more pain, it gets kind of sticky.
Yeah.
Because it's sensitive. So,
and it can be an all-around losing battle. Like, at some pain is pain, especially depending on where you are in your life and your journey. Like, you know, it might not be that big of a pain if you've gone through a heartbreak before, but if this is your first heartbreak, like, you know, this is not, you can't really say that somebody didn't go through that pain.
You know, one of the things that I thought was good, and I think resonates with a lot of women, is the fact that, you know, we have to put on this facade after we break up, like we're okay. Yeah. Like, like the angry, like when she was like, you playing, you know, what's that? I ain't sorry, or, you know, the song, you know, I don't need you. Right. You know, because we, as women, we always say we got to put on for our friends, but it's like, we're lying and I feel like our friends know we lying. Because I've been in those times where I'm like, you know, I see my homegirl trying to get over a breakup. Like, oh, I don't need him. But you really know you just broke up with him like 2 days ago. Like, right. You ain't that good. And so we feel like we have to put on this facade, like, to show everybody we're okay when we're not okay. And I feel like that causes us more pain as women. Because I remember when I had that devastating breakup, and I just felt like I had to bounce back. Like, you know what I'm saying? And everybody was like, you know, it's okay to be hurt. And I'm just like, no, I'm good. It's all right. I'm just, you know, whatever. And it's like, you don't experience the trauma of what happened if you, like, don't give yourself that space to heal.
Right. I think it's powerful in the sense that it kind of challenges us as men to be mindful of what we're doing and what we're getting out of it. I never thought that, you know, me going back and saying, hey, I thank you for being who you are. I thank you for loving me. I thank you for making me a better man, and sharing the ways in which I've benefited both personally and professionally from the love that you showed me, and, you know, me being able to grow in this relationship, how that's helped me. I never thought that would be a sore spot. And it would be hurtful to hear. You know, I kind of always thought being put on a block list was just kind of like you being petty. You need to learn how to deal with your emotions. Like, you crazy. All y'all drink from the same fountain. You know, craziness, just straight craziness. This doesn't make any sense. But then reading something and being like, oh, gosh, like she explains her emotions so thoroughly. Like, I can see how I can imagine, you know, and I just put it in a professional context. I can imagine working on something and putting all this work into a project, and then somebody else gets the benefits of it, or somebody else gets to say like, hey, I did that. Somebody just kind of swooped in towards the tail end where I've tried to, like, I've really worked out all the kinks. I fixed all the problems, and then somebody else gets to come along and just utilize it. Like, seeing it from that way, it really just kind of says, hey, this is a real thing. And as a man, you got to be mindful of this. I will say, and I guess this is more of a question than a statement, I feel like there's something good that has to come out of it. For women, I guess, I don't know. Maybe that's not fair to say. I just think it's because to me it's crazy that two people that was in the same situation and one person benefited so much. Like, I look back on that situation, my situation, and I see it in a positive way. I see all of the things that I learned. I see all of the things that I grew from it. I see, all of the things that I've taken away. And it's like, literally, I walked away from this situation, I feel like, with like a sack of pleasantries, right? Just everything is all of this good stuff. Like, yeah, we clashed, we butted heads. It was a rough breakup. It was just, it was really hard, but I have a lot of good stuff. And I feel like when women look back on it, they don't really have that. And to me, it baffles me of like, how can we both walk away from a situation and you not see the good? Cause I don't feel like I wasn't like a dude that was just out here, being reckless and doing crazy stuff. So I feel like maybe, I guess my question more so is like, is it because you're still like in the hurt phase that you can't see the benefits? And maybe I'm not in the hurt phase, so I can see the benefits. Like, if you move past that hurt phase, would you walk away with like some good stuff like I did? Yay, nay?
I think it depends on the situation. Because I've seen people who have had, have looked back years later and said, it was good for me. Some people don't have that same story. So I guess I feel like it's situational.
Yeah.
I can't say everything, but I think listening to you talk about it shows like the ways in which men and women think so differently. Like, you legit think, like, I'm giving you props. Like, you legit, with all your heart, genuinely think you're helping.
Yeah.
And then from the women, it's like all negative. Like, you're a piece of crap. Like, this is like, it's almost seemed like the women think, us as women, when we hear men say this stuff to us, we assume that it's BS. Like, there's no legitimacy to it. And then you as a man saying, no, like, I authentically, legitly thought I was helping.
Yeah, like, I thought this was a good thing.
No,
I thought this was a good thing for both of us too. That's the thing. Like, I'm not even looking at this as like, this is an escape for me. I actually thought that this decision of us breaking up but continuing on as friends was good for the both of us. And, it makes sense that it makes sense in hearing it. And honestly, this also, and I'll say this, y'all know how I've always, I'm always like, homegirls are the reason that 89% of relationships fail, because of homegirls, right? But it kind of gives me more context, honestly, to homegirls of like why one would see it this way or feel that way. Because if you guys all had a similar situation, or like can all kind of, is the number of women that I saw post this, and peers, women in my age, in our age group, like post this and say like, yo, this is my life, or she's preaching, or whatever it was. To me, it's like, wow, it does explain why homegirls would think that way, or why a homegirl would be like, he ain't nothing, you need to leave him alone and let him go. And, for us, it's kind of like, well, I'm not a bad dude. Like, I can literally write down the list of stuff that your last boyfriend did to you that you shared with me, and I ain't did that. Or, that dudes, you always talk about dudes do, and I'm not that dude. But I guess a part of me still is. It's just like another layer of a problem that I don't think about. And it kind of helps of being like, it makes sense. I just wonder though, and I'm hopefully nobody don't like nail me to a cross for this, but I wonder though if a portion of that comes from just still being hurt. And I feel like a lot of, with a breakup, especially when you're in your 30s, or late 20s or whatever, with a breakup is harder for women than it is for men, because society expects you to, people start asking you, what's wrong with you? Why you're not married? You need to get a man. You need to do whatever to make a man happy so that you can have a family. And that is a part of the story of completion for women and success. Like, your success is to at whatever point in time of your life, society expects you to, they define you as being successful by your ability to have and to make a family. Well, for men, maybe it's a part of our story of success, but it's not the end all be all. Like, you know, we can be married and get married and it not work out and then just kind of decide to be a bachelor and play the field. And, you know, as long as we take care of our kids, like, you good. But for women, I feel like it's still kind of empty. So maybe that's why it still lasts, the hurt lingers, or why you can't really move on from the hurt. I don't know. I think I'm just wondering if there's like, when do you get to the point of seeing the benefits of this relationship too? Because it's just kind of weird how somebody can really change your life. And really, for me, like, you've changed my life. You've really revolutionized me in my ability to care and be compassionate and to think as a man. And like, I feel like I was giving you something. I know I was dropping nuggets. I was challenging you, like I was supporting you being
You're
great.
Like, I ain't just, I have ruined your life.
Right. Like, that's
like,
what
ain't no benefits.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, dang, like, I mean,
it makes you feel like you have no asset.
And I always, you know, I kind of pride myself off of trying to add to people's lives. And so it's like somebody that you speak so highly of, I just wonder, like, I want to be a fly on the wall when you talk about me. Like, is it just like,
he ruined my life.
He ruined me. He's horrible. Don't talk to him. Like, you got a character witnesses. I feel like somebody ever acted like a character witness. He's the devil. He won't commit. He's horrible. Like, I don't know.
But I think it's like, it's interesting because the point I raised to you last night when we were talking about this, like, does it take a detachment for somebody to change? Because you're talking about who you became after, not who you were with, not who you were with. So is it that detachment that creates the shift? Like, is the detachment necessary for you to become better? It's like a cocoon, like a caterpillar and a butterfly. Like, it's like, you know, am I making sense?
Yeah, no, you're
like,
making sense. I was just going to say,
like, it's jacked up, but it's like, do people change unless pressure or hurt is applied to it? Because it's like, you are breaking up makes you reflective, and you have to be reflective apart from the person. Sometimes you can't see things up close. So is it like, can people change in the midst of it, or do they have to be detached from it to change? Because that seems to be the common thread. Like, the detachment seems to be the change agent for people.
I was going to say, not only the detachment in my case, it wasn't just the detachment. It was the detachment with the desire to be attached and being rejected in that. And so being on that block list,
what she experienced.
Yeah, being on that block list, and constantly reaching out and trying to say, like, you know, this friendship that I said that we should be friends, I'm trying to actively pursue that. I'm trying to be your friend. I'm trying to see you. I'm trying to be involved in your life, and you won't let me do that. That forces me to look at myself. That honestly magnifies all of the issues that you said I had before. And it makes me hear them. Although you aren't here speaking it, now I hear it. Now, when I'm trying to figure out what's wrong, I'm relying on all of the stuff that you tell me that I had to get to, that I wasn't doing, or that I needed to do, that I needed to fix. And then I fix those things.
So women have to start treating men like they treat
that.
women.
I'm not
in order for them to transition.
That's not what I'm saying at all. As a matter of fact, I think that's the end of this conversation. I'm just playing. No, but, and that's why it's so hard to have, because it's kind of like, this space is, I'm not saying this for every dude, for everybody, but I'm speaking for me. I think it wasn't even just the separation. It was really this desire to be back, to be in your life. Like, I love you. I care about you. I don't want, and I get it. Like, I get that, to me, for maybe for men, or for us, for myself, this gray area is just easier to deal with. Like, being in a gray area, but having you here is easy to deal with. But the fact that you rob me of the ability to be a part of your life, rob me of the ability to take care of you in the way that I want to take care of you, it kind of messed me up. Like, it makes me real pissed off. It makes me get really upset. But then at the end of the day, I start getting upset without knowing that I'm upset with myself, because I keep hearing all the stuff you tell me I did. And then I start realizing, well, it's not that bad. Like, I mean, if I knew that you were going to rob me of talking to you or seeing you or being with you all together, I would have just like did what I had to do. Like,
but how is it she's robbing you when you broke up with her?
Because the intention behind it wasn't like I was breaking up because I was like, oh, you know, I'm just tired of dealing with this. It was like, it makes sense for us to break up now. Like, this is a problem. In my case, it was like, we keep clashing. Like, we keep arguing. Why? For what? Like, why are we doing this? Like, let's just break up. Let's go our separate ways and figure this out and then come back together. Like, that's to me. And I've had, you know, my female best friend has called BS like 1,010,000 times, and, you know, my sisters have too. To me, that makes sense. Like, that's sensible. For other people, you know, not so much. But for me, it's just like, I thought that made sense. I thought that was like a good thing.
Yeah.
You like, what's the easiest way to call BS without like really saying it? But yeah.
I want to be, I think you're a good guy. I think you really try hard. But in this situation, I think you're the guy in the letter. I mean, in the blog. And but I don't think that makes you a horrible person.
Well, thanks for trying to spare some of my feelings. Thanks for trying to spare some of my feelings.
We all have horrible moments. That doesn't necessarily mean we're horrible people.
And I'm going to hold on to that forever. That is really good.
What?
We all have horrible moments, but that doesn't mean we're horrible people. I like that. That's really good. I like that. Well, we have, this conversation has been forever. I feel like we can continue going on. Y'all, if y'all haven't read 443, we will put the link out. You guys check that out. And honestly, like, for guys that listen to our show, really read it for real. Like, I know, it's not the easiest thing. I'll be the first to tell you it's not the easiest thing to read. Like, you honestly, maybe somebody will read it and just be like, I don't really care about it. But if you're somebody that knows that you at least try to like do right, by people in relationships, I feel like you're going to read this and be like, wait a minute. But it's helpful though, because it provides context, and when you know better, you do better. So now it's like, we know better, so we can try to start doing better and just being more open. There's a line where she says like, you got to be honest about not being willing to be well. And I think that is really, that's true. Like, sometimes, you can just got to say from the beginning, like, hey, I'm not, in terms of like getting to the place I need to be for a relationship, I'm not ready to do that. I guess just be honest with that, and continue to be honest with that and go for it. But y'all let us know. And I want to
before you end, I want to give, because I misquoted Candace's credentials. So she did the Lemonade syllabus, the Seat syllabus. So she did a reflection on Beyonce, Lemonade, and the Seat at the Table, where she gave books that kind of would correspond with these albums. And also she created the Red Lip theology, a movement to encourage young Black Christian women to embrace their whole selves as good creation. So I just misquoted it at the beginning, so I wanted to correct it at the end. Follow Candace and definitely read, like Randall said, 443.
All right, and we'll be back with our toast or roast.
All right, and we're back with our toast or roast, and today I'm doing a roast of I'm trying to pause to figure out if I want to use her title or not. Well, she is Dr. in quotes Juanita Bynum, and she has an invitation that she released where $300 a ticket you can celebrate with her for having 7 accomplishments. This includes a bachelor's, a master's, 2 doctorate degrees. Also, ambassador to UN. I need to check on that. And some other things. It's just too much. All at one time to go and celebrate. If you know who Juanita Bynum is, she was made popular by T.D. Jakes. He had her on his Women That Are Loose years ago, and she did this famous message, No More Sheets, where she talked about her, used to sleep around and all this other stuff, and, how God brought her out and blah, 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 telling women not to be hoes, all this stuff. And she has recently told women that don't wear stockings, that she feels like they could go in the corner with a deacon and just lift a dress up and bust it open for the deacon in the corner and have sex in church, right there in the middle of service, because they don't have stockings on. If y'all didn't know, stockings were the ways in which God kept you from having sex.
He keeps you holy that way.
I did not know that until she explained it, and then it still didn't make sense. Anyway, so this doctorate, so I do, this is my field. Theology is my field, church. So I decided to Google the school, Christian Theological Seminary in Canada. There is a Christian Theological Seminary in Indianapolis, but not in Canada. Couldn't even find a website for it. And I know 2 of the professors. I know 2 of the professors at Christian Theological Seminary, and I haven't asked them yet, but I'm pretty sure she didn't go there. In the one in Indiana, and she said she said on theirs that the one she went to was in Canada. Couldn't find the school, didn't have a website. My advice to people: Google is free, guys. When people tell you, especially when she said on the invitation, PhD allows me to teach at higher level institutions, who puts that on their invitation? Who does that, first of all? Who gives a invitation without telling us what school they got each degrees from? Don't each graduation announcement have where you went to school? You just told us one school. You didn't tell us where you got this. You said this was a seminary. Seminaries don't have business programs. Now, so where you got this business degree from? You did not give us specifics. It's too much ambiguity in this lie. You got to be detailed. You couldn't at least make up a school. I guess it's too much. Like, we can look this up too. I just was confused. This is the thing. I told people today on Facebook. If you go look at people's bios, if they say they got these degrees, look at the school. Google the school. If the school got a .org, .info, .net, .com,
.info,
it's not real, guys. Stop it. .edu at the minimum. That doesn't even mean it's accredited, but at least start there. You don't have to go any further if you got .info, .com, .me, .net. You know it's fraudulent. Just keep going. Tell them stop claiming these titles. Say you didn't go to school. I've never seen doctors without bachelors. It's an epidemic. I'm seeing it in church. Just wanted to stop. So I'm roasting Juanita Bynum and everybody else with these fake fraudulent doctorate degrees or any kind of degree. If you didn't go to school, you just didn't go to school. Be okay with it. It's not the measure of greatness. I mean, it's on a ladder there, they tell you. But listen, Mark Zuckerberg don't got no bachelor's, and he one of the richest. So don't
you call him Mark Zuckerberg?
Zuck. I'm sorry. That's why I call him Zuck.
Zuckerberg. Go ahead.
A lot of successful people. Puff Daddy, he didn't finish Howard. That's a lot of successful people. Jay-Z, no bachelors. So don't lie. Just work your lane. Do better. That's my roast.
Well, I'm gonna give you guys a toast. I mentioned it earlier, and I kind of just want to dive into it. I'll try to make it really fast, but I'm going to toast to the streaming service Tidal. And I'm toasting the Tidal because although Tidal has been plagued with having to switch out their CEOs, I think 3 times in a year or something like that, and a lot of people saying like, you know, their numbers are down and they don't really. It's one of the. It's the least popular streaming service, and the one thing that they have is their exclusives, and they're basically thriving and trying to survive off of that. For as much flack as people give Tidal and Jay-Z for Tidal, I found out that the Sprint deal also involved them giving money to a charity that is trying to connect kids in low income neighborhoods to the internet and to technology for educational purposes. And to me, that's amazing. Jay-Z on Father's Day also bailed out 100 fathers for Father's Day. Guys that are just sitting in jail. They're waiting on a court date. They've been in jail for years because they can't afford to put up the money for a bond to be bonded out. And wait outside of jail for their court date. So he put money towards that, and just seeing the different things that he's done in the community. I went to Title 1015 last year and saw the things that they promoted, that they did to the local schools, and promoting teachers and students, and kind of mentoring those students at a time, and just talking to them and sitting down and trying to get them to know that, you know, their behavior is just as important as getting the knowledge and the things that they can do, and just kind of promoting. I think it's really dope. And so I made a decision to sign up for Tidal maybe a week or two ago. It was probably like 3 weeks ago. And I signed up for it for that very reason. Whatever, it was right after Father's Day. I decided to sign up for it, to support it, because I'm like, hey, you know, this is $10 that I would be giving to another streaming service or to somebody else. And so I'm going to give it to Tidal. And I just want to toast the Tidal I want to toast to Jay-Z and toast the Tidal for just the work that they're doing. I personally want to put my money towards a company that I know that's helping people from situations and neighborhoods that I came from, and that are specifically trying to give to people that look like me. So I'm toasting a Tidal, and if you guys do have a streaming service, I would definitely urge you to consider Tidal. There are going to be some adjustments. There have been some adjustments for me, but I kind of went without having a streaming service, so I was like, why not do it? Because I want to support it. So toast the Tidal, toast to Jay-Z. I love what you guys are doing, and just keep doing it.
Dope.
Yeah. So this week's quote actually does come from Jay-Z. I know we're giving y'all like a Jay-Z overload, but this week's quote is, "You can't good vibe." Thank you, Lisa. This week's good vibe is, "You can't heal what you don't reveal," and that, of course, comes from Jay-Z's 444 album. It speaks volumes in itself. It's very simple, but you can't heal from something that you're not revealing, that you're not putting it out there and actually having somebody to help you walk through it and deal with it. So as you go through this week, think about it. Like, what is it in your life that you probably are grappling with that you actually can't heal from? You probably just need to reveal it to somebody. You need to point it out, like show people what it is, and get the help for it. So take that good vibe throughout this week. This wraps up another episode of Brunch Culture. Again, as always, we thank you guys for rocking with us. I do apologize for us being absent for a little while. We were absent because I had a lot of personal things going on in my life with my family members, and we're getting back on track for that. So I thank you guys for being patient with me. I thank Lisa for her support. Again, you guys know where you can find us at www.brunchculturebc.com. Our Instagram is brunch_culture, and our Twitter is Brunch Culture. You guys make sure you check us out, interact with us, and really check out this blog 443. It's really dope. And if you haven't heard Jay-Z's album 444, get into it. It's dope. Again, here, we love you guys. We thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Remember, here at Brunch Culture, everything is up for discussion.